Hello and a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, our participants, panelists, partnering institutions, and distinguished guests who have joined us for this valedictory session of the World University Summit, a 3-day virtual confluence organized by OP Jindal Global University on the theme Universities of the Future, Building Institutional Resilience, Social Responsibility, and Community Impact. We have had 3 days of stirring discussions on a range of themes, evolved strategies to counter new challenges that we grapple with at our universities, and more importantly, we have explored the transformative potential that universities have, not just in such times as these, but will also have on students in the coming years. This confluence of world universities now concludes with this valedictory session. To begin this session, I now request our founding Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal Global University, Professor C. Rajkumar, to deliver the welcome address of this session. Over to you, Professor Raj.
Thank you very much, Mercy. Well, good morning for people who are watching from United States, and of course, good evening from India. Welcome to the valedictory session of the World University Summit hosted by OP Jindal Global University. My deepest gratitude to Professor Dr. Sirpam Fredman, President of the International Association of Universities, Professor Dr. M.K. Sridhar, member of the Central Advisory Board of Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India, for making this valedictory session very special with their esteemed presence on a Friday. The last 3 days have been truly thought-provoking. While we started on 21st July at the crack of dawn in the West, the intellectual deliberations across the day went on till midnight to welcome the rising sun in the East and continued for the next 3 days. As we continued across these few days, the summit, we had nearly 50 hours of live streaming. It has been our objective to create an intellectual capital and knowledge with a global view and living through multiple time zones across 3 days of invigorating dialogues is perhaps why we were able to create an impact for a global audience. I'm happy to report that we have had nearly 10,000 plus views across all the streaming platforms for all the sessions during this time. The commencement of this conference was elevated by the presence of our Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu, who inaugurated the summit in the August presence of Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, Honorable Union Minister of Education, Government of India, Professor D.P. Singh, Chairman of the University Grants Commission, and Mr. Naveen Jindal, the founding Chancellor and benefactor of OP Jindal Global University. The summit witnessed 150 plus thought leaders from 6 continents and 25 plus countries, from United States of America to Ghana to Russia to South Korea to Israel to Italy, making this a truly extraordinary moment for us to ensure a global set of perspectives on local challenges. Institutional heads from over 100 universities represented at the summit. This included over 31 vice chancellors, 28 presidents and rectors of universities, 21 provosts and deputy vice chancellors, 25 plus deputy presidents and rectors. It was wonderful to see how sometimes even from the very different parts of the world, what we experienced so similar. This summit was our humble attempt to find that unity in our diversity to overcome the challenges that have been set in these extraordinarily challenging times. To be able to create a forum and knowledge center which could benefit such a diverse and dispersed group of stakeholders of higher education across the world has indeed allowed us to realize the vision that we had when we first conceptualized this summit, reimagining the universities of the future for institutional resilience, social responsibility, and community impact. The last 2 days have been stimulating across 35 sessions. Some of these include the keynote addresses and distinguished public lectures by Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Member of Parliament, India, Professor Dr. Philip Olpak, Founding Director of the Center for International Higher Education, Boston College, Dr. Joanna Neiman, Secretary General of the Association of Commonwealth Universities, Professor Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General of the Association of Indian Universities, Ms. Sahana Singh, a distinguished author and columnist, Professor Dr. Dinesh Singh, former Vice Chancellor of the University of Delhi. I feel grateful to all the speakers from around the globe who took the time out, especially during these difficult times, to come together to help us reimagine the universities of the future. The diversity of our speakers and themes allowed us to conclude on some very important, pertinent challenges and innovations for a wide range of areas of development in higher education today, and many themes, including virtualizing mobility, rethinking curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment amid the COVID-19 disruption. There were at least 2 special dialogues with senior women leaders from across the world to discuss the evolution of diversity and inclusion at universities and the role of universities in promoting equality, nurturing future women leaders, creating awareness, and ungendering universities. As the world continues to face one of the largest global crises of our time, it's important that universities across the world continue to find their collective consciousness and utilize their intellectual capital to pave way for a holistic and sustainable way forward for higher education institutions. Therefore, I hope that this summit is only the start of a journey where we, as universities, as enablers of education, as participants of community engagement and social impact, continue to drive these discussions to constantly evolve and contribute to the betterment of the world around us during and post the pandemic. And on that note, I would like to conclude by once again thanking each and every one of you for joining us in realizing our aspiration and vision to create a global impact. I would particularly like to express my gratitude to our global educational network partners who enabled us in accomplishing this goal: the Association of Commonwealth Universities, the Association of Indian Universities, Coursera, International Cooperation Group of Brazilian Universities, Star Scholars Network, and UpGrad for their support. Thank you to everyone, and namaste.
Thank you, Professor Raj, for those introductory remarks on the World University Summit. It is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guest, Professor Siv Pham Fredman, who will deliver the valedictory address of this session. Professor Fredman has served as the rector of the University of Gothenburg from 2006 till 2017. She is a professor of neurochemistry and has held several leading positions, such as that of a dean of the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Gothenburg, the Sahlgrenska Academy. Professor Fredman has also been the head of the Gothenburg University and its principal representative. Over the years, she has been active in a large number of scientific and scholarly contexts and has been the chair of the European Society of Neurochemistry and is a member of the Royal Swedish Academy of Engineering Sciences. Since 2016, Professor Fredman is the president of the International Association of Universities in France. I now invite Professor Fredman to deliver the valedictory address. Over to you, Professor Fredman.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank the organizers for this honorable invitation to speak in this valedictory session of this World University Summit, conceptualized by the OP Jindal Global University. And I would like to say that this is a much appreciated member of International Association of Universities. This is the end of a 3-day meeting of Universities of the Future with distinguished speakers and participants from all around the world, from the higher education sector and representatives from other stakeholders in society, including policymakers and governments. And I am impressed by the variety of themes that has been covered during those 3 days. Sharing experience and knowledge and ideas on how to form the universities of the future is of utmost importance to ensure access to knowledge and higher educations all around the world, to leave no knowledge behind. To meet local and global needs of knowledge and competence, the universities of the future must build on cooperation and cohesion, not just within the higher education sector, but also between the higher education sector and the society at large, public and private sector and civic society. Knowledge and competence for an innovative and sustainable societal development locally with a global perspective and responsibility. We all have a responsibility for saving our planet and to a sustainable future for the next generations. Sustainable from environmental, societal, cultural, and economical perspectives. And as stated by the United Nations, higher education do play a key role in reaching the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and realizing Agenda 2030, which has been ratified by almost all governments. Higher education matters. Higher education is a part of the whole education ecosystem. Quality education at all levels and through life, lifelong learning. The global challenges as the climate change and the pandemic has clearly demonstrated the need and the importance of knowledge and education in all societies. Global challenges cannot be solved by one country or region alone. Neither can technology alone, and multidisciplinary approaches in education and research is required and needs to be developed. However, the pandemic has clearly revealed the inequalities in access to knowledge and research and to education at all levels. An inequality seen between countries and regions, but also within countries. The consequences of the pandemic on higher education and education at large must be a wake-up call, and at the same time be seen as an opportunity to shape the future of higher education in research and education. Crises are often driving forces to creativity and innovations that hopefully make our societies more resilient to and prepared for local and global challenges and responsibility for sustainable development globally. Knowledge through research and education is crucial to empower our societies in such developments. And this brings me as the president for IAU to shortly introduce the organization. IAU is a membership NGO and created by and an official partner of UNESCO, and which last year celebrated 70 years. IAU was established 1950 in response to the voices of university leaders being worried about the future of higher education after the Second World War. They saw threats to the recognition of the unique role of higher education in societies as part of a democratic and sustainable societal development and to foster peace. Threats to academic freedom and fundamental values as base for universities to fulfill its unique role in society. So IAU was created to provide a global platform for higher education institutions and organizations. Its vision is to contribute to peace and human development by promoting and enhancing the power of higher education to transform lives, build capacity, connect diverse peoples, generate and disseminate new knowledge, create insights, and find sustainable solutions to local and global challenges. IAU is today one of the strongest advocates promoting the role of higher education in sustainable development globally, and it speaks out to many of the UN organizations, including UNESCO. The priority areas of IAU is higher education for sustainable development, leadership, internationalization, and technology, covering the themes of these 3 days meetings. And I will in this valedictory session highlight some take-home messages for us all to jointly act onto and build the universities of the future. To use the global experience of the still ongoing pandemic, shortcomings and opportunities in higher education. For universities to serve and provide societies with knowledge and competence to form an innovative and sustainable environment locally and with global responsibility, they must be respected for the higher education fundamental values, including academic freedom, meaning to choose questions and methodologies in research and education, and to disseminate knowledge, to perform education based on research and proven experience, ethical and equality perspectives, etc. So the first take-home message is to bring awareness and respect for the fundamental values of higher education in societies, and in particular among policymakers and governments. Higher education sectors must take on the responsibility to explain and showcase the relevance of these values for its unique role in society. In a time when applied research is pushed and not at least financially, the importance and relevance of the curiosity-driven research must be voiced. Curiosity-driven research is a unique role of universities and based on academic freedom. Each year at the time for the Nobel Prize, curiosity-driven research is valued, and the reality that you cannot predict if and when the discoveries has a social impact. Without basic research, we should not have seen the preparedness to, in reality, in relatively short time, identify the COVID-19 virus and also develop a vaccine. Higher education institution has a societal responsibility by providing the societies with competence and knowledge. Cooperation between higher education and external stakeholders is important and will increase quality and relevance of research and thereby also support for higher education as a common good. Respect for and trust in the fundamental values of higher education is a key in cooperation between higher education institutions and with external stakeholders. Universities, on their hand, must show mutual respect and trust for external stakeholders, regulations, and objectives. And if they cannot be met, there is no conditions for cooperation. Second take-home message, to encourage and develop respect and trustful cooperation within the higher education sector and between the higher education sector and external stakeholders. Policymakers and governments must support the higher education's unique role and value and act to remove obstacles hampering cooperation. Cooperation to support local needs of knowledge development and competence to drive a sustainable development with global responsibility. We have to remind us that today's students are the future leaders and decision makers. Equity in access to higher education is of utmost importance. The inequality in higher education has been highlighted in response to the pandemic and pointed out that it is what is needed to consider and to handle when we develop the future of higher education. As has been discussed during the meeting, technology, digitalization's development was pushed by the pandemic. Online education is a reality when campuses closed, but neither competence nor technology equipment or infrastructure is available for all. Inequality is present not just between countries and regions, but actually also within countries due to socioeconomic disparities. Many students have lost a year or more, and also might not be able to compensate the losses due to financial resources, and or even worse, have lost the belief in the value of higher education. There is also an awakening of the value of the physical encounter, not at least to increase inclusiveness. It is not just personal loss of education, it's a severe loss for each society. The third take-home message for higher education is to develop technology advantages with pedagogical quality and to ensure equality. For the policymakers and governments to financially support this development to ensure equality access in higher education and an investment for an innovative, sustainable society. There is a well-known gender inequality in academia, generally and in leading positions, and subsequently in leading positions in the public and private sector. And this perspective has been deservedly taken up in this conference. In most countries, female faculties takes a greater role in the education than men do. Thus, it's likely that the increased workload caused when having to move to online education to a larger extent was carried by female faculties, with the consequences of reduced time for performing research, write publications, be part of and write grant applications. The needed technology and pedagogical development must be shared equally among academic staff. There are articles showing that female faculties also spend more time for household care and other family responsibilities during the pandemic. further reducing time for research and thereby to make an academic career. The academic merit system must be developed to recognize quality instead of quantity in research and also value education performance. The fourth take-home message: University of the future must all recognize and remove obstacles to ensure and promote gender equality in education and research in academia, not at least in leading positions. So gender equality is crucial for a sustainable societal development, and student population must also reflect this. Governments must, through financial and regulation support in equity in higher education. Again, this is an investment for the future. So why not have it to be recognized as a societal competence infrastructure? The fifth and the last take-home message: to rethink internationalization. It is a general agreement that higher education is international. Knowledge has and should have no borders. Open science and open data is supporting openness and access to knowledge development, not just within the higher education sector, but also at stakeholders in society. International cooperation in research must involve all parts of the world, and technology has facilitated cooperation. However, physical meetings cannot be fully replaced by virtual meetings. Virtual meeting has facilitated and increased connections around the world, and we have to continue all this. And I think that this meeting is also an example of how we have been able to connect all around the world. I will particularly highlight that as in this conference, IAU has in their webinar series seen an increased participation of policymakers and governments and other external stakeholders. And their participation in higher education dialogues is of importance, not at least shaping the universities of the future. Higher education matters for all, and this must be recognized and supported also in society. IAU has followed the effects on internationalization by COVID-19 and organized many meetings on how to rethink internationalizations. Mobility of students and researcher staff will come back, but the general view is that will not be at the same extent quantitatively, but hopefully with thought through content and increased quality. Young researchers and student mobility and international experience is important, but the how must change. Quality in internationalization and global responsibility must be guiding universities of the future. The financial dependence of international student fees and the commodification of higher education is not promoting higher education for all. University must have a public funding allowing them to fulfill the society's need of education for all. So this was a selection of perspectives that needs to be included in the development of the universities of the future. A conference like this has showed so many themes of relevance, and I hope that the outcome of the meeting will be shared broadly among higher education institutions, policymakers, and governments around the globe. And we heard from the introduction here that the discussions will continue. This is just not an end of the meeting. However, most important is cooperation and cohesion in higher education and between the academia and external stakeholders. Cooperation and solidarity and less competition will strengthen higher education and the development of the universities of the future to fulfill its role to provide knowledge and competence for a sustainable future and to save our planet. IAU will serve as the global higher education platform and the global voice of higher education. And I welcome you all to our website to learn more and to be part of our activities for higher education. Finally, I would like to thank the O.P. Jindal Global University and all behind the arrangement of this important and successful World University Summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Fredman, for those thoughtful and inspiring reflections and for sharing those valuable take-home messages which are drawn from your experience at the IAU. And thank you very much for underscoring the need to respect higher education sector and the unique role that higher education plays in knowledge generation and sustainable development, and its larger contribution of the universities make to community development. It is now my pleasure to introduce another distinguished guest for today, Professor Dr. M.R. Sridhar, who will deliver the special address at this valedictory session. Professor Sridhar is an academician, a mentor who trains various organizations, a social activist who espouses many social and national causes. Professor Sridhar began his academic career at the Vijaya College, Bangalore, about 2 decades ago. He later joined the Bangalore University as a reader at the Canara Bank School of Management Studies, where he became a dean, a professor, and director subsequently. He also he's been conferred with many awards, some of them which include the Karnataka Rajyotsav Award by the government of Karnataka, the Kempegowda Award by the Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagar Palika, and he also has served as a general president and has been given a gold medal by the Indian Science Congress Association. Most notably, Professor Sridhar now serves as a member of the Central Advisory Board of Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India. It is indeed a pleasure, sir, to have you in our midst for this valedictory session. I now invite you to deliver the special address of the valedictory session. Over to you, sir.
Namaste to everybody. When I say namaste, there is no need to say different things for different countries, different time zones. Namaste is something common to all of us. I'm very happy Professor C. Pam Fredman, President of International Association of Universities, France, Professor Raj Kumar, Founding Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal Global University, Professor Sridhar Patnaik, Registrar, Debar, brothers and sisters. With very lot of interest, I heard Pam Fredman trying to give out the 5 messages that are needed for today. The most important thing, what I could pick up toward the end of her address, when she mentioned about the commoditification and how the universities and higher education need to have that public funding. That public funding is primarily for public good. So therefore, I think I share your sentiments, your views, and I think this will be the message that has to go through everywhere. Friends, I think we are on 24th of July, 2021. 5 days from now, we will be completing the first anniversary of national education policy of our country, which was announced on 29 July 2020. I think this entire 3-day Global University Summit, which is happening at the time of the first anniversary of the policy, is a befitting tribute to the national education policy that has been announced by Government of India. In fact, I had the fortune of being part of that effort. It is considered to be one of the policies which has undergone largest consultations in the world on any education policy, spanning over nearly 5.5 years. through multiple platforms, from grassroots level villages up to national level and international level. In fact, it has undergone 4 times public domain suggestions. All that has been incorporated, and I feel that this is a very good omen for higher education in India. And if I can say, India having one of the largest higher education system of the world, if the quality of higher education in India improves, I think we can also do a lot of contribution to the quality of higher education in different parts of the world. So therefore, I personally feel this entire thing, nearly 175 years of colonial mindset of education system, we are able to now come on to terms, and we are trying to revolutionize the entire system of education in our country. So for the benefit of especially Tom Friedman and others who have come from different parts of the world, I would like to just appeal to them, have a look at our policy. And India is changing. India is building a new country, new institutions, and for a new future. So I welcome all of you to this particular journey. And what I would like to share a couple of ideas today is primarily the theme of the entire conference, Universities of Future, Building Institutional Resilience, Social Responsibility, and Community Impact. I went through the various sessions and the speakers. What attracted me, this entire theme and many of the sub-themes. What I feel is Universities of Future, the major theme very clearly mentions that it is not going to be the macro system which will build resilience. It will be the institutional system which is going to build that resilience. And this is one of the very important features of the policy also. If you have to build resilience, it has to be at the individual institution level. It cannot happen at the macro system. And if we have to really do that, if resilience has to happen, resilience has to happen in terms of the human resources, the culture, the kind of mindset that is needed at every institutional level. So I feel the Universities of Future, in order to build that institutional resilience, social responsibility, and community impact, cannot come from infrastructure, cannot necessarily come from technology. It will really happen from the human resources, the cultural dimensions, and all other softer elements of the institutions. The hard power of institutions, no doubt, contribute. But what makes the difference is the soft power of the universities. So therefore, what I feel is this resilience is actually a result of micro effort. And when it comes to social responsibility, it is the social responsibility will happen through the vision, mission, priority, plan, and action of the institution. If I don't have a vision or a mission or a priority of social responsibility, it cannot happen. In spite of having vision, mission, priority, if I don't plan at my institutional level, and if I don't act at my institutional level, social responsibility will remain as a word on the paper. So therefore, what I feel is social responsibility will happen at the institutional level. And when it comes to the third dimension, community impact. In fact, if any university has to be really judged, it has to be judged based on whatever impact they have created in your surroundings. You know, the living conditions of the people there, the community, the kind of service that you provide, the kind of research that you undertake, the kind of action that you undertake, that is going to be the extremely important point. So therefore, friends, what I feel is universities of future can build this resilience, social responsibility, and community impact, not necessarily by government regulations and government macro systems. It will happen because of the institutional commitment and institutional conviction, which has to be at the institutional level. Coming to the various themes of this entire conference, really what attracted me is a few themes that are picked up here. For example, one theme called first generation learners. That's an extremely very important thing. You know, you do not have either a baggage or a disadvantage or an advantage of previous learners in the family. So when you are addressing the first generation learners, I think it requires, tremendous empathy, tremendous understanding, tremendous stepping into the shoes of those learners. So therefore, the first generation learners, the theme which has been taken up in this entire World Summit, actually speaks volumes about the commitment of the universities of future. Let me come to the another theme, sub-theme, which really attracted me, the gap due to curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment with regard to the COVID, the crisis that is happening. So if you have a look at the entire various themes, sub-themes of this entire summit, I think one dimension, one pattern which is emerging is these universities of future will address the crisis during COVID, when you have the crisis, and once the crisis is over, post crisis, and also very important, beyond crisis. So it is during crisis, post COVID, and beyond COVID. If I don't handle my crisis today, I cannot prepare myself for tomorrow. And if I don't prepare myself for today and tomorrow, I cannot address the things which are going to come day after tomorrow and further. So I think from that angle, this summit addresses the entire thing in a very meaningful way. The other very important sub-theme which caught my attention, ancient Indian education in modern times. I think there are many countries here which have got this kind of thousands of years of civilizational wisdom. I think India, having more than 5,000 years of recorded civilizational wisdom, that ancient education, how it has to be pursued in modern times. We don't want to live in the past. We want to live today and we want to live tomorrow. Then the basis is yesterday. So this is a very interesting thing. And one more thing is local innovation is another theme which has sub-theme, local innovation. When you make the local innovation, that connectivity to the community and social responsibility will be much more. For example, now you take the COVID crisis. Now, the people in and around your university, when they are suffering, if I can make some innovation for people within our surroundings, it will make better impact. So it is very much connected to the community impact. And then one very interesting subtheme is harnessing youth. It's a very, very positive statement. It's a very, very positive potential promise that all of us are here to harness the youth. When we are saying harnessing youth, it means that they have competencies, they have strengths, they have potentialities, but at the same time, we have a lot of challenges. So how do you harness, how do you channelize, how do you make use of their multiple intelligences for the sake of, community impact? Like this, there are any number of sub-themes that are addressed in this World University Summit, which are of lot of importance to all of us. So what I would like to say is the universities of future are going to send a very, very important message. If you have to make a macro impact, you will have to act, you will have to initiate micro action. And if you have to make macro impact, you will have to make micro action. And that micro action in an university situation cannot come just like that. I remember having read a piece of article, a research article in Harvard Business Review a few years back. The article talks about how ethics in an organization have been influenced. What kind of leadership influences the ethics in an organization? Then after all study, the research, finally, the researchers conclude that the ethical impact is maximum in such of those organizations where there is servant leadership, not hero leadership. Leaders are behaving as heroes. There the impact is very less, and the leaders behaving as servants, the impact is maximum. I think that kind of micro action, that kind of culture is going to make a lot of difference with regard to micro action. So therefore, friends, with a positive spirit, with a potential spirit, with a spirit of building the resilience, trying to fulfill my social responsibility and community impact, I think every university of future need to become a lamp which removes darkness in my surroundings. Let me end this address with a small explanation of a poem that one of the Nobel laureates from India, Guru Rabindranath Tagore, in one of his poems, he explains that one fine day, the sun god wanted to have a casual leave for one day. If the sun goes on a leave for one day, the entire world will get into darkness. So before applying for casual leave, the sun tries to appeals to everybody, I am going on leave for one day. Is there anybody who will play my role in my absence? This is what is explained by Rabindranath Tagore in this poem. And then sun makes a very loud voice, maybe through web and World Wide Web also, I don't know, whatever it is. And, after this entire announcement, there was complete silence. But at a very distance, the sun hears a feeble voice. And the feeble voice says, I can. But the sun looks at that feeble voice. It is coming from which side? Then the sun recognizes that it is coming from a lamp. And the lamp is trying to say, sun, you are a mighty God. You can remove darkness from the entire world. I do not have that much of capacity to do that. But I can definitely play your role. But I can definitely remove darkness in my surroundings by giving light. I think this is a very, very important takeaway that universities of future, if we can try to address our responsibility, community impact in our surroundings, I think that will be a greatest resilience, not only for the institution, but for the community, for the region, for the country and the world. Thank you very much for giving this particular opportunity. I once again greet Pam Fredman, Professor Rajkumar, and all others who have given me an opportunity to interact with all of you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Professor Sridhar, for those interesting reflections and for reminding us that the onus of building institutional resilience is on individual institutions, and that we as universities need to consciously realign our mission, vision, and plans towards social responsibility to make greater community impact. And perhaps somewhere along that way, we may go on to truly building universities of the future and be that small lamp that dispels darkness. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. I now invite Professor Dabiru Sridhar Patnaik, Registrar of OP Jindal Global University, to deliver the concluding remarks of this session and of this summit. Over to you, Professor Patnaik.
Thank you very much, Professor Mercy. Good evening, everyone from India. I am indeed delighted to be here with all of you to deliver the concluding remarks on behalf of the OP Jindal Global University. Well, it has been a remarkable summit with so many reflections, ideas, and takeaways for universities in their mission for now while traversing into the future. While the entire world is facing challenges brought in by the pandemic, the disruptions caused by the pandemic had given us indeed an opportunity to convene a summit of this nature by virtually bringing together educational leaders from India and abroad to address higher education challenges and opportunities. And this evening, we are privileged to listen to Professor Siv Pam Friedman, President, International Association of Universities, deliver the valedictory address. And we're also honored to have with us Professor Dr. M.K. Sridhar, member Central Advisory Board of Education, Ministry of Education, Government of India, deliver the special address. Well, it's indeed a mammoth task to sort of conceptualize the outcomes or the takeaways from the summit, and even from the addresses that we just heard this evening. But nonetheless, I can say the following. Obviously, the ideas are so very inspirational, thoughtful, and enriching, wherein the speakers emphasized, or rather, it's like a manifesto about what universities ought to do as we traverse into the future, and wherein they have emphasized that the potential role universities could play with multi-level engagement while progressively building a knowledge society based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and with exchange of ideas and interagency and international cooperation in the field of higher education. And most importantly, as articulated by Professor Sridhar, the timing of the summit is so very appropriate as we commemorate the anniversary of the national education policy. And as far as higher education and student learning goes, universities of the future should focus on community and social engagement in consonance with the fundamental principles as envisaged in the national education policy, while even working on and even prioritizing curiosity-based research as articulated by Professor Friedman with a social impact. So these are so very important takeaways for all of us from India and even around the world as we go on to revisit and work on our mission statements while working in the field of higher education, and conceptualizing the innumerable ideas will require perhaps another commemorative conference. I sincerely thank Professor Friedman and Professor Sridhar for joining us this evening and sharing their ideas. And we look forward to their continuous support and guidance. I also take this opportunity to thank the Office of the Honorable Vice President of India, the Office of the Honorable Minister of Education, Government of India, the Chairman of the University Grants Commission, and the Office of the Honorable Chancellor, Mr. Naveen Jindal of OP Jindal Global University, for having taken the time out and for participating in the inaugural session of the World Universities Summit. We are also grateful to the keynote speakers for having shared their experiences and ideas. And we would like to thank Professor Philip Albach, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, Professor Joanna Newman, Professor Pankaj Mittal, Dr. Sahana Singh, and Professor Dinesh Singh for their participation at this particular summit. We are also grateful to all the panelists and moderators who contributed to the summit. And in particular, we are thankful to the national and international knowledge partners of the summit, the Association of Commonwealth Universities, the Association of Indian Universities, the Coursera, the International Cooperation Group of Brazilian Universities, the Star Scholars Network, and Upgrad. We are indeed grateful to the Vice Chancellor of OP Jindal Global University for having conceived this idea of a World University Summit, and who worked tirelessly to bring in thought leaders in the field of higher education from around the world, and with a grand vision that this is going to become, and rightfully so, the World Economic Forum. So we are going to have another session or another edition of the World University Summit at Sonipat, either next year and in the foreseeable future. And we are also greatly supported by the information technology team at the OP Jindal Global University that worked tirelessly. And I must make a mention of Mr. Karan Kumar, Mr. Nagendra Gupta, Mr. Vidyut, Mr. Naveen, and Mr. Durgesh Nath Tiwari, who contributed tirelessly to make this conference a great success. And we also extend our gratitude to our communications and outreach team, Ms. Anju Mohan, Ms. Pratiksha Rana, and Ms. Yamna Ahmed for their contributions to this conference. And in particular, we are also grateful to the International Institute for Higher Education Research and Capacity Building of the OP Jindal Global University for having organized this summit under the leadership of Professor C. Rajkumar. And we are thankful to Professor Mausami Mukherjee, Professor Anamika Srivastava, Professor Nisha Nair, Professor Deepak Maun, and Professor Amit Lahiri. We are also grateful to the Teaching and Research Fellows at the Higher Education Research and Capacity Building Institute. And I would like to thank Ms. Prerna Sharma, Ms. Sandal Agarwal, and Mr. Raju Karjigi. I'm also grateful to my colleagues at the Office of the Registrar, Mr. Rajkumar Rana and Mr. Nitin for their contributions to this conference. And especially, we are also thankful to our colleagues at the Office of the Vice Chancellor, Mr. Abhinav Madan, Mr. Karan Anand, Ms. Neha Gupta, and Mr. Ankit Tyagi for their tireless contributions to this mammoth conference. I also take this moment to thank members of the university administration for their efforts to make this conference a grand success. I might have missed a few other individuals who have supported us in this endeavor, but in all earnest, I wish to be forgiven for not specifically expressing our gratitude, but we wholeheartedly acknowledge the efforts of everyone. And before we close, I would like to recall a Japanese idiom, which is called Ishigo Ishai. And this is indeed an Ishigo Ishai movement, which means we must value each moment like a beautiful treasure. And we as educators may meet on different occasions, and there may be another opportunity to conduct a World Summit. But this is truly an occasion to cherish and treasure as we rally around ideas in a holistic manner, looking towards the future. And until we meet again, we thank you, everyone.
All right, we are right on schedule. So once again, thank you very much, Mercy, for being the master of ceremonies for this validity session. Thank you to Dr. Sridhar. Thank you to Professor Fredman. And thank you, Sridhar. The conference and the World University Summit has ended. Thank you.